Hello, vinyl community. It's Bill here again, and here I'm jumping late on a thread courtesy of Alan at Static Traveller, and it's that if I were God, or let's not get into blasphemy, if I were a god, or if I had supernatural powers. So there were a series of, I think, 9 questions. The reason I'm late to this is that I was away on a lovely holiday to Canada and Seattle. And then when I came back, I was down with the dreaded COVID. So I'm back again now. One of the worst symptoms was I didn't feel like having a pint of beer or a dram of whiskey. But on with the show. So the first question is, show a record that you would improve by adding or removing a single track. Now, I did think of the Beatles' White album and removing Obla Di Obla Da, but people know my views on that particular album or that particular song already. So I'm going instead for Who's Next, which I would improve by removing My Wife, which was the John Entwistle composition. And I think there's probably 2 that I would add instead of My Wife. One is Naked Eye, and the other is Pure and Easy. So I think Pure and Easy was on Townsend's solo album, and I think Naked Eye was one of the outtakes that found its way onto Odds and Sods. Both are great, so almost anthemic songs, so would fit nicely with Baba O'Reilly and Won't Get Fooled Again. But this is a fantastic album, but would be improved by removing My Wife, because I always skip over that particular track. Next is show a record of an artist you would resurrect from the dead. I think this guy's probably been shown before, but Buddy Holly, who was so tragically taken away from us in 1959 in that horrific aircraft crash. But yeah, from this Legend album, yeah, there's all the great hits such as That'll Be the Day, Not Fade Away, Oh Boy, Peggy Sue, etc. And then later on you get Raining in My Heart, and It Doesn't Matter Anymore, with some of the strings arrangements, which maybe gave Phil Spector some ideas, not sure. But yeah, I think Buddy Holly is the godfather of pop music, maybe not rock music, but pop music. And it would be great to see, what he would have done through the 60s, 70s and beyond. Yeah, great artist, great songwriter, and great influencer for rock and roll music initially, and then pop music. So I would resurrect Buddy Holly. Next, show a record which you own that you would obliterate from the face of the earth. I've been looking for this. I do own it. I own it on CD. And the record is Love You Live by the Rolling Stones. And yeah, I think from all the reissues that we've been getting recently, you'll think, why did we need another Rolling Stones live album? I think it was from the mid to late 70s. Can't remember if it came after Still Life. I think it did. And well, it certainly came after Get Your Ya-Ya's Out, which is a fantastic live Stones album. But Love You Live, yeah, the Andy Warhol cover I'm not so keen on, but Mick Jagger's vocals are just horrendous. He's very shouty on that album. And yeah, he's one of the great singers and frontmen in the history of rock and pop. And yeah, it just doesn't reflect well on Mick at all. I'm not sure about the rest of the band, but yeah, Mick's performance on that one is pretty awful. So that's the record that I would erase all memory of its existence. There was another one, but I got rid of it a long time ago. Can't remember how I got rid of it. It was Keith Moon's Two Sides of the Moon. And I remember taking it to a second-hand record shop, trying to sell it to them. And they said, sorry, mate, you'd have more chance of selling us a Bay City Rollers album than us buying that particular Keith Moon solo album. Right. This next one is show a record cover that displays the force of, or the power of nature. And I found this really difficult, but Concert by the Sea, Errol Gardner shows these waves crashing against the rocks. And of course, the rocks are, millions of years old. Yeah. And yeah, show the power of creation. But since I struggled so much with that, I thought I'd show you this one, which if I was almighty and all powerful and a creator and had all these supernatural powers, I think I would create landscapes like the ones that Roger Dean did for the covers of the Yes albums. So yeah, I would have, fish with sails on them and planets with water sort of floating about in the atmosphere, etc. Sort of, I don't know how big these things are, but I think they're like mini islands or whatever. But yeah, really like the artwork, and there's so many more with sort of fish floating about in midair, etc. So yeah, if I had the power of creation, I think I would create some planets and landscapes like Roger Dean's. Then, which three musicians would you Frankenstein together to produce one super musician? Well, I've got, yeah, this chap here, Paul Simon. And of course, he was part of that duo with Art Garfunkel. And yes, some great harmonies. He's a great songwriter, and yeah, he's continued to flourish with his craft throughout the years. And I would combine him with Don and Phil Everly. Now, the reason for Don and Phil Everly being combined is that, yeah, they fell out with one another. And so their musical career was hampered by the fact that they were brothers and they argued. So if we could get, both these talented singers and songwriters, they wrote The Price of Love and Cathy's Clown as well. So if we had their two voices combined with Paul Simon's, what a heavenly voice we would have. I don't know if he would be able to do three-part harmonies on his own, but yeah, if he had that vocal range, he could multi-track it and would hear these wonderful harmonies. So yeah, the vocals of Paul Simon, Don Everly and Phil Everly, and yeah, their creativity as well would be a magical combination. Next, I have to show a record by a male artist and a female artist who you would save from the end of the world to entertain you in heaven forever. Now, the female artist is Ella Fitzgerald. And the male artist is Jack White. And I think I would be entertained very well for the whole of eternity by these two. I think that Jack would set up a collaboration with Ella, and we would have some very interesting music there, some maybe lo-fi Great American Songbook interpretations. Or Ella Fitzgerald did a cover of Can't Buy Me Love in, I think, 1964. So she has shown that she has the pedigree to, try different things. And I think, well, the scat singing as well would be great. But yeah, Jack White to me is just such a, diversity of styles, from the power blues rock through to Americana, and the work with the White Stripes and the Raconteurs. And yeah, he's just a creative ball of energy. The work on American Epic and his duets with Elton John and various other people as well. So, and I always love his performance with the Rolling Stones, where he looks like a kid in a candy shop when he's performing on stage with his heroes. So I think there's enough material out there from both Ella and Jack that I wouldn't get bored, and I can just think of the potential collaborations between the two. Show a record that depicts one or more of the 7 deadly sins. And I think this one's been shown already, Beggar's Banquet, so a great illustration of gluttony. But I really love this cover as well. This is from Waltz Darling by Malcolm McLaren and the Bootzilla Orchestra, and a great illustration by one of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood, I think. And I'm not sure if this is for sloth or lust. Really beautiful painting. So that's the illustrations of the 7 deadly sins. And then show a record by an artist, if you can, who you would assign to hell forever for musical crimes against humanity. Now, being a Scot, I'm going to be very unpopular. I give my nomination. I don't have a record by the Proclaimers. I would walk 5,000 miles to get away from the Proclaimers. I think, yeah, I'm all for people singing in their own dialect or their own tongue, their mother tongue, etc. But yeah, the Proclaimers don't do it for me at all. So I would obliterate them from the face of the earth. And finally, in my benevolence, I have to nominate a VC channel to which I would donate or bestow, because I don't have 1 million subscribers to donate. I would bestow 1 million subscribers to Stoner's Stash Box. He's a gentleman with a beard, has a sort of Willie Nelson look about him, and he tells some great stories about his pickups from Rizzo's. I think if he had 1 million subscribers, he might be able to buy Rizzo's. And there was somebody else that had a collection that he wanted. Well, he'd picked up a few LPs from, but Stoner himself has got a wonderful delivery, and yeah, he's a character, and I would bestow 1 million subscribers on him. So I'll put a link in the description below to both Stoner's Stash Box and also to Alan Static Traveler's original video that was the origin of this wonderful and entertaining thread of VC videos. Do check out some of the others, some great fun, and yeah. That's it for this video, but I'll be back soon with another edition of Random Records and Music Ephemera, or possibly Acquisitions and Divestments for Q3 2022. Bye just now.